Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, so even before I get into this episode, I gotta sit there and just ask a basic question that only hit me on Sunday. And I'm annoyed at myself for even sitting there not asking this question sooner. There has been 3 people that have died. Is there a particular reason why, like, security has not been stepped up at all whatsoever? Like, how in the world did somebody get like? There's like 3 other deaths, right? You would think at some point in time that after the second death, I guess maybe they found this sooner. But the point is, after the second death, you would think that they would beef up security. They would literally be sitting there doing everything that they can to make sure that nobody else gets this OD. The only thing that they've done so far is suspend Liz. That's their greatest solution so far. Michael, let's just cut the last name for a minute and put Quartermain in there. You would think that he's practically VIP. That, and somehow Cyrus is able to sit there and get in that room. That is just astonishing to me. And that's before I get to my very unpopular opinions. Yeah, just a foreshadow, it's going to be a bit unpopular. You know, for the first time in a very long time, or just for the first time really, I can see why people like Nina. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think that she's a dingbat, okay? I stand by every single negative comment that I've ever said, including inventing the word Ninaisms when describing Nina. But it wasn't until today that I can see why people like her. Because she's not afraid of Carly. She's not somebody that Carly can just sit there and just boss around and tell her what to do and snap her fingers. You know who used to be like that? Ava. When Ava first came to town, I'm pretty sure she had no problem sitting there smacking the living piss out of Carly if she got out of line. It was only till later on where it just started to, we gotta sit there and try to pump up Carly like she's the most baddest of the badasses out of all. So, Willow comes in and Willow's like, hey, listen, you don't need to talk to them. I'm his wife. You talk to me. Carly asks, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you not allowing us to sit there and see our son? Are you kidding me? Says the woman who literally took her children out of her house, out of her place. But you have the audacity to sit there and ask Willow, why are you not allowing me to see my son? Why are you not allowing her to see her children? I mean, it's just like scene, in one scene, she comes across as a hypocrite. Did you ever really love Michael? Did you ever really love some of the men that you cheated on? Like, are we really sitting there doing this? Because let's just be honest for a hot minute. You didn't take Willow's children out of her home because she was a bad mother. You didn't do that because she was an unfit parent. You did that out of spite. That was an emotional decision that you decided to do. Something that you clearly wouldn't want done to you, but you had no problem doing that to her. So at this point, she's like, yeah, you know what? F it. Let's sit there and play hardball. Nina's that they're trying to keep things somewhat civil. Carly starts with her, oh, I'm gonna intimidate you. You know what I've done to sit there and stand up for my family and this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, you know what? I just like I can't believe I'm actually sitting there saying this, but like, Carly, you're not the badass that you love to sit there and claim that you are. Like, you might want to sit there and calm that down. And I think that's when I was like, okay, I can see why people like Nina. I can see it. I don't like Nina, but I do like the fact that she is not to be pushed around by Carly. Nina is like, you know what? Let's try another way. So she talks to Sonny, and she gets him to sit there and see reason. And, at one point, Sonny's like, oh well, I don't want Willow to sit there and take Michael's kids. First of all, they're not just Michael's kids. Let's just sit there and get that right off rip. Okay? Willow adopted Wiley. So legally, that is just as much her child as it is his. And if anyone wants to sit there and talk about, well, they're not connected biologically, when did they actually define being a mother? So we're not gonna sit there and go with that. As far as Amelia is concerned, oh no, that's also her child. You know, um, yeah, it was definitely out of pocket, and at the very least, a stupid move for her to sit there and take her children to go with Drew. Because let's be honest, if she just went out of state and let's just sit there and say she went fishing with the kids or whatever, Michael wouldn't have had a problem. Michael wouldn't have had a problem. Michael only had a problem because she was with Drew. Let's just be very clear about that. But it was stupid. So that is on her. But they come back and Sonny's like, hey, listen, this stuff's gonna go down. Carly's upset. I'm like, Carly, those aren't your kids. Those are your grandkids. And that's cool and you can love them like they're your own, but they are not your own. You need to sit there and know your place. Um And seriously, where else did she? Because I feel like people sitting there trying to make it seem like, oh, she stole her kids. She went to Nina's place. Okay, like relax, y'all. People sitting there acting like she just left and she just took the kids. Took the kids where? To Nina's place. And Michael did sit there and say he did see them, like the day after Christmas or whatever. So it's not like she's trying to be nefarious or anything like that. Yeah, she's a bad wife. That's that's universally obvious. But as far as everything else is concerned, he's not a bad mother. Lucas told Sonny and Carly that he did flatline for a minute, but he's fine now. He's not out the woods, but he's just, he has a long journey. What he should have told them is that he probably flatlined because somebody gave him digitalis. I don't understand why he didn't sit there and tell them that. I really don't get that. Um, Isaiah had to come in there and use some sort of countermeasure to digitalis or whatever, but did tell Portia, hey, listen, we need to get the police involved because it's going to come back that he got the same stuff injected into him. And again, why is there no security? More security there? But no, the hospital thinks that their best option is to suspend Liz. Okay, sure. Now Cody wants to then try to invest his money into crypto, and Tracy was like, "Yeah, no, don't do that. You gonna lose your money. You ain't losing my money. Find a better way." He goes. I guess he went to go see. I don't really know why he was actually at the yoga place, but he does run into Cody. I mean, into Kai, talks to him for a little bit, and then talks to Brad. And it's like, hey, listen, I need you to get in contact with your aunt. I got a surefire win, and Brad's like, I don't really work my aunt anymore, but I mean, how much is my cut? So he decides to do it, which would be nice if we do get to sit there and see Selena Wool. Because we haven't seen her in, way too long. Um, One interesting thing about the scenes with Kai, Trina, and Stella was there for a little bit, but then she left. Was that he was not there talking about if he, I think he has to do something. There's some sort of game or whatever, and he's deciding if he should just be drafted early or if he should sit there and finish up his schooling and then get drafted afterwards. Now the problem with waiting too long is that injuries happens all the time. You know, so he's kind of like if I don't take that chance, I may sit there and wind up getting hurt. And as weird as it sounds, it made me think about of all things married with children. The 4 touchdowns in a single game before he wound up getting hurt. Yeah, I know it's kind of a stretch, but it made me think of that. It made me sit there and wonder. Also, since they said that, was that like foreshadowing that you would get hurt and you would be bummed, and she would sit there and I don't know, some sort of Nicholas Sparks romance would start us up. Only one book or a movie that actually liked Nicholas Sparks. I can't remember it right now for some odd reason. Okay, Walker, remember that's too. And a Notebook. Okay. Stella and Tracy. Stella and Tracy, they mostly catch up. They do talk about Monica and how Monica has been, feeling ill and stuff like that. She hasn't really been, as up and around or even as far as going back and forth with Tracy. Now, for the people that don't know, unfortunately, yesterday, Leslie Charles did pass away. Um, and then there's a part where Stella's like, well, if that does happen, you'll have to be the next matriarch or the next head of the house. And it's funny, I said that yesterday in my stream when I was talking to DC. And I'm like, yeah, because in all reality, who else is going to sit there and head this house? Olivia? Ned? Maybe Ned, but I don't see Ned. I mean, I guess because the guy he does days and he does GAs, but I feel like it would go to Tracy as far as being the next generation or the next head of the house. Um, and Portia does sit there and ask Brad to sit there and look into this whole digitalis thing as far as like any patterns or anything like that. So, she's really sitting there trusting him to come through. And, he wants to sit there and make sure that people don't die as well. So, it's kind of a good time to sit there and really kind of bridge the gap since the whole, blackmailing thing. And the last scene is with Lulu. Now, I feel like she kind of tells some of this stuff in out of order. In a sense, she comes in and she blames Dante for screwing up her chance as far as seeing, getting Charlotte back. And while I did sit there and say, and I stand by this, she didn't ask Dante to show up, right? But ultimately, she does sit there and say that she did most likely lead the shooter there. And of course, Laura tries to keep her from not worrying too much by saying, hey, listen, Valentine, he's going to take care of her. He's going to sit there and handle it. And, like, try not to worry too much. And of course, Tracy was like, make sure you are taking care of your other child. Now, one of the things she did sit there and say was she was up, well, I guess she was still kind of hurt by what Dante said as far as don't make Sam's sacrifice be in vain. And she did sit there and say, if Sam was here, she would want me to do it. And that is true. I do sit there and believe that, but like, it's still one of those things where it's like you just got a second chance at life, you know. Um, so use it wisely. But The thing with Lulu, it's just like it's one thing, it's in one ear and out the other in a sense with her. Um, I don't know why. I feel like that's the main. They do talk about the shooting. They do talk about the shooting, but like she does realize it was an accident, and that her daughter was being played by um. Well, let's be honest, her dick of a grandfather. Let's see if that's about it. As this story is going on, and again, I'm surprised that Lucas didn't sit there and say anything. I can see this as a possible way of um, getting Michael to leave town. The problem with my original theory is that, see, I thought that his face was going to be burned beyond recognition in a sense. Remember when Matt got burned? Like his whole face, everything was covered up. I mean, he was literally banished like a mummy, right? So, like, if they ever needed the character back, they could have just simply just recast. They could have just recasted him. Um, well, with Michael, we can still. I mean, they're bad, but it's like we can still see his face. So I'm just wondering, since we know that they're not going to kill him off, how are they going to sit there and explain? If he does decide to want to, if he doesn't decide to want to come back and they need to recast him, how they're going to explain that? I mean, I guess they don't really have to in a sense. They could just simply still recast. I mean, hell, we got a new Lucas. They didn't do anything with him. So we have what is this, like Harley number 4 or something? So I guess they don't really need to necessarily do that. Um, I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else that wound up happening. Of course, if I did miss anything, write in the comment section below. Now, tonight, I'm not going to be live streaming because I got to wake up super early, but I will be live streaming tomorrow. Have more time, we can sit there and have more fun. The usual time, 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific, and, we'll sit there and talk about all the shows. But yeah, anything I miss here, we'll write in the comment section, or we'll talk about today's episode and tomorrow's episode. Because gonna be honest, I still do got a little bit more to talk about, but it's already 17 minutes, so I think that's never mind. It's 18 minutes. So I think that's enough for now. But yes, I will sit there and see you in the next video and next live stream tomorrow.